Thank you for taking time to investigate the professional coach training being offered by Life Forming Leadership Coaching in conjunction with Strategic Cell Ministry International here in Kenya. I am Dr. Les Brickman. I want to give you a warm welcome as we begin to look at the nuts and bolts and also the big picture of our coach training program. I have been involved in coaching since 2003. I have well over 3,000 hours of coaching with clients. I've also been involved as a life-forming leadership coach trainer since 2004. And besides those in the U.S. that I have trained, I've trained over 100 coaches internationally in Bulgaria, in Hungary, Singapore, Malaysia, here in Kenya, and in Botswana and in Nigeria. My personal coaching niche is personal leadership development. In particular, I employ psychological type as an organizing principle to enhance an individual's PLE, that is their personal leadership effectiveness. As a result, I am trained and I have a certification with the MBTI as a certified practitioner. I'm also an MBTI master practitioner. I'm certified with the Pyramid Personality Integrator as well as with Emotional Intelligence, the EQI 2.0 and the EQ 360 for businesses. These are all psychometric assessments which provide unique psychological insights in order to enhance effectiveness and performance in the workplace and also to improve relationships between leaders and those that they lead, as well as their other relationships. A little bit of background in terms of my training. I spent a number of years within the U.S. banking industry. I also spent 5 years in aerospace engineering with Pratt & Whitney Aircraft and taught the secondary computer math and computer science for a number of years. I've been in pastoral ministry since 1972 and have served the last 20 years as a consultant and also as an adjunct professor for Regent University in Virginia Beach, Virginia in the U.S. That has been from 1996 up until the present. I'm married. I have been married 50 years. We have 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and my wife and I have co-founded Strategic Cell Ministries International in the U.S. and Strategic Cell Ministry International here in Kenya. We do business as SCMIKenya or SCMI Kenya. Our vision is training and assisting leaders in influencing, catalyzing change, and transforming their unique spheres of influence. I mentioned life-forming leadership coaching a moment ago. SCMI Kenya is working in conjunction with life-forming leadership coaching to provide professional life coach training at costs that are representative of and we hope affordable within the East African economy. More regarding the costing as we wind down our time together. But the question then becomes, what is life-forming leadership coaching? Dr. Joseph Umidi at Regent University has designed a system to accelerate leadership development, and he utilizes the unique values and methods of leadership coaching. Dr. Umidi serves currently as Executive Vice President for Student Life, and he is the former interim dean of the School of Divinity at Regent University. To quote his own words, LLC is a leadership coach training organization for relationally focused leaders looking for profound and measurable tools to catalyze change in their spheres of influence. Life-forming leadership coaching had its origin in about 1999. It was the brainchild of Dr. Umidi. I remember speaking with him in the cafeteria in 1999 prior to my moving to Russia to train leaders there. And as he presented the first module to me, I remember the excitement as he looked forward to developing this program for the university. It originally was developed for Regent University, the School of Leadership, and it became a master level and a doctoral level actual degree program. It has been field tested over the years. We have well over 2,000 certified coaches and over 100 coach trainers around the world right now. We are the largest Christian coaching organization in the world, and our training is fully compliant with all of the ICF competencies. People ask, well, how did you happen to come to Kenya? The organization that my wife and I began in the U.S. did pro bono work overseas a number of times each year. In 2007, we made plans to come to Kenya. In 2008, to work with leaders in Uganda and Rwanda and Kenya. And while we were coming over, the head of our international department actually received a phone call or an email from a young lady here in Nairobi who was wanting to pursue a coaching certification with our organization. Well, that was handed over to me, and I was asked to meet with her. And as I met with her, and as the Lord then settled us here in Nairobi, she was instrumental in catalyzing that first coaching cohort that began in 2008. And the rest, as they say, is history. Well, that's a little bit about me, some of the background of the organization. I know that you're taking time right now, and you have many differing expectations. Some of you are going to want, out of this presentation, you're going to want to see the big picture. You don't want all the details. You don't think that you need the details, just the big picture and some of the details to fill in the gaps. Others of you really want the details of the nuts and bolts of what actually is a training, what is involved in it. And hopefully I will be able to give both of you the details and the big picture that you desire. Others of you will be wanting to understand the content, the theory, the understanding of what makes this program tick, so to speak. And I know that others of you on the other side will want something of a little more personal nature. You'll want to know some of the experiential benefits, some of the stories around the coaching and what makes it so valuable. And again, I'll try to give both those perspectives throughout this presentation. Some of you, when I get done, you'll be ready to make a decision. You'll be ready to kind of sign on the line saying, this is great, this is what I've always wanted, what I've looked for, what I prayed for. I'm ready to make a decision. Others of you will come away from this experience and this investigation going, I still need some additional questions answered. I still need some additional points clarified. And I will be happy to do that and enter into dialogue with you at a later date. As you explore continuing options, I want to be available to help in that exploration. Well, let's begin by looking at the value of coaching itself and the need for coaches. Why do we even need coaches? Why is it valuable? Maybe I ought to begin by helping you to understand what coaching is not. Coaching has taken off, even though it's still a new discipline. It's taken off over the last number of years, and many people have hung out a shingle and said, I'm a coach, when in reality they may fit into a slightly different category. Let me say very frankly that mentoring is not coaching, and coaching is not mentoring. The mentoring process is an impartation of something that you have as a mentor that you're giving to the mentoree, that you are imparting to them, your wisdom, your experience, skill. something that you are mentoring that mentoree with, but there is an impartation involved, and that is not coaching. Some of you are teachers, and what you are doing is you are transmitting information. Cognitively, you are impacting a person's understanding. And again, there is that transmission of information, but that again is different than coaching. In coaching, you are not teaching, you are not transmitting that information, you are drawing out of your client, as you'll see in a few minutes, that which is already within him. I've been a consultant for many years. As a consultant, I'll go into an organization, I will examine it. They want me to see how they can improve that organization, how they can improve their leadership, how they can improve their system. In other words, they want answers as they move forward. Well, consulting is not coaching. As a consultant, I will give them the answers. As a coach, I'm going to again draw the answers out of them, believing that for their life, they are the best ones to determine what their answers are. And my answers, for me, may not be the answers that they need for themselves. And finally, coaching is not counseling. In counseling, you're taking an individual who is to some degree dysfunctional in an area, and you're bringing that individual into functionality. In coaching, you're taking somebody who's already functional and you're helping them to move forward and to arrive at a dream, to move toward a goal that they're desiring. So what is coaching? Well, I want you to think of the Olympics. I want you to think in particular here of David Rudisha, who is the world record holder for the 800 meter. And what did his coach do to help him win? If you can answer that question, that's what coaching is all about. See, coaching is coming alongside, it is supporting, it is encouraging, challenging, listening, asking powerful questions, and to a great degree, that's what his coach did. He came alongside this great runner, and he encouraged him, he challenged him, and in that relationship, he drew out the best from that athlete. When you think of coaching and you're answering the question, what is coaching all about? Let me just say, well, it's helping people grow without telling them what to do. It's practicing the discipline of believing in people and believing that they're the best ones to direct their life, that you're not the best one to tell them what to do, but they have the answers. And through asking powerful questions, you're drawing that out of them. You're drawing out what is already in there. They just need somebody to help to get them to the point of bringing that out from within their own thinking. Your genius as a coach is asking those powerful questions that will get people to think beyond what they have thought in the past. And your faith as a coach in your client will be that encouragement that says, yes, I can do that. I can move forward. Coaching, again, is coming alongside and supporting and encouraging and challenging and listening and asking those powerful questions. I like to think of coaching as being able to give clear perspective also. And I use the acronym CLEAR. And that C stands for challenge. Coaching provides a challenge. A great coach helps clients go beyond where they might have ventured on their own. It challenges them to reach higher, to expand their goals, and to go deeper, to go past the surface into the very transformational level instead of focusing on symptoms and surface information. So number one, coaching provides a challenge. Coaching, secondly, provides the L is listening. Simply listening alone is a tremendous gift that you can give to any individual, a client or otherwise. Listening, in this case though, will help a client talk through a potential course of action and clarify his thoughts or her thoughts. Active listening coupled with understanding intuition indicators and being able to use powerful questions will lead your client to fresh insights and more significant reflection. The E of clear perspective is encouragement. That's affirmation. Affirmation, encouragement, re-energizes clients and actively helps them to reach their goals. It's becoming excited about your client's progress and about them becoming excited also. It's looking forward to meeting with them looking forward to meeting with you, and it's inspiring them with validation of who they are and what they can become. And so again, we're providing challenge, we're providing listening, we're providing encouragement. And the A is accountability. Accountability provides the discipline that a client needs to get important things done. Healthy accountability builds on the client's internal motivation. We're not about manipulation, outside pressure, outside motivation, external motivation. Healthy accountability is going to build on the internal motivation of the client, and it will help them to maintain progress toward important goals while flexibly adapting to the realities of life. Challenge, listening, encouragement, accountability, and then relationship. An authentic, life-giving relationship is the doorway into a client's life and is the source of a coach's influence. We use a term that is called relational capital. Great coaches are constantly building relational capital by investing time into the client, by investing into the relationship with that client. And as they build relational capital, and as they catalyze authenticity, as they care for that client in the relationship, this gives them influence in terms of, again, building relationship, challenging, being able to listen and encourage, hold accountable, all because, again, there is relational capital that they have invested. So coaching provides clear perspective. Not just the challenge and the listening, the encouragement, the accountability, and the relationship, but perspective. Coaching provides a sounding board, feedback, a fresh viewpoint, and occasionally a very healthy dose of reality for your client to help them solve their own problems. Great coaching helps align thinking with reality in order to produce effective solutions. Very often, giving a client perspective, challenging them in their perspective, is to get them out of the box in which they are limiting their thinking and their options by getting them to think in ways that they have not thought in the past. And so again, when we look at, what is coaching itself? It is providing clear perspective. It is coming alongside. It is drawing out. It is not counseling. It is not consulting. It is not mentoring. It is not teaching. But it is coming alongside to draw out of the client that which is in them through the use of powerful questions as you follow those indicators in the midst of the conversation, as you're listening and challenging and encouraging, building relationship, holding them accountable, and challenging their thinking beyond what they have already thought. Let me address another issue, and that is the impact of coaching on a business. You might be a businessman looking at coaching for yourself, looking at yourself being trained or training those within your organization. Coaching increases a business's return on investment, or what is known as ROI. As I said earlier, coaching still is a new industry, relatively speaking. However, its effectiveness in business has been proven over and over again already. The following statistics that I'm giving you are the courtesy of the Executive Career Coaching and Consulting. And according to the Hay Group, between 25% and 40% of all Fortune 500 companies utilize coaches. Some are external coaches, some are internal coaches within the company itself. A global study of Fortune 500 companies determined that coaching produced a return on investment of 529%. In other words, as the Manchester Inc. study showed, there was a return in US dollars of $6 for every $1 spent on coaching. But not only that, there was improvement made in the bottom line profitability of the organization, in productivity and quality, in the customer service that was offered, in the cost reductions to the organization, the ability to reduce company complaints and strengthen the organization, and even there was an increase in retaining executives. Again, studies have shown that training, when combined with coaching, increases productivity by 86%, as opposed to simply a 22% increase with training alone. I have been employed by a number of organizations as they have taken their people through the training. They have seen this, and so they have employed coaches to come alongside and to coach that which the employee has learned and help them to apply it quickly in their work situation. The International Coaching Federation reports that individuals who are coached experience the following outcomes as a result of working with a coach. Just look at some of that. 67% of individuals have said they have increased their self-awareness. 57% we've had lower stress levels. 62% have said we're able to set better goals. 53% have discovered more about themselves. 60% have walked away with a more balanced life. And 52% have said my self-confidence has been raised. Again, the impact of coaching on the personal life and the well-being. Now, I want to invite my wife to come, and I want her to share how coaching can, in a practical way, actually change a life. And I'll let her share some of the experiences that she has had, both personally and what she's seen with others as a result of coaching. So Twyla, if you will come down, I will turn this podium over to you, and please share.
Hi, I'm Twyla Brickman, and it's great to be able to just share with you for a few minutes about the power of coaching to change lives. The last thing I thought I would ever be is a professional life coach, but here I am. And my specialty, or my niche, is really destiny coaching, particularly with young people, because I like to help them discover the path that God really has for them. I'm also an author, a pastor. I've been an international teacher and conference speaker in the U.S., Canada, Russia, Bulgaria, and here in Kenya. When I first heard about coaching, my husband had come to me and said he wanted to take this course in coaching. Number one, I didn't even know what coaching was. I mean, what was coaching? And we had already been married over 30 years at that point. And we had been through high school together and university, and then he had gotten his master's, And then we had just graduated again when I got my master's in practical theology, and he had graduated from Regent University with his doctorate. So it's like I thought education was over. What was coaching? What was he talking about? I told him, I said, what do you need another degree for? I mean, you're going to have more degrees than a thermometer. So I was not supportive, but we talked it through. He went ahead, took the course, and the first life that I saw transformed was his. He had been kind of the typical pastor, typical leader. He had done counseling and mentoring and discipleship and training and consultations. And so he was the expert. I mean, he was smart. He had all these degrees and certifications. And so he told me, the kids, the people in the church, and everybody else what to do. But after he took coaching, instead of telling, he asked these questions that would like open up my own mind, my own heart, and really draw out of me what God had put in there. And so that kind of transformation in him and in the relationships with people, where he was not the expert telling, but really empowering people to discover their own destiny and to really find the answers that God had already put inside of them, they just weren't in touch with. It was so amazing. The value for people, believing in people that they could hear from God, and they didn't need someone else to tell them what to do. So the transformation in him was amazing. Now, it did still take a few more years before I took the coaching. I actually graduated in 2012 here in Kenya with that cohort. But before that, I was drawn to the coaching again because of what I saw it could do. I remember this one day. We were living in New Jersey at the time, and we had a day off, so we went to New York City. We're walking through Central Park around this beautiful lake. So, it's not a coaching appointment. It's not like I was a client or I had this formal appointment with the coach and I was sharing a goal, but it was a coaching conversation. It was just a natural conversation where we're walking along, and my husband began to ask me, really what was in my heart. And if I could do anything, what would it be? And I had been so many things, I'd been a mom, and I was a grandmother, and I had gotten my master's, and I was a pastor, and I had already written one book by that point, and I hadn't thought about what was next. I mean, I was already in my 50s, and it's like I didn't have another goal. I wasn't sure. And as he began to ask me, it just rose up in my heart that what I really wanted to do, if I could leave a legacy, if I could do one more thing in my career and something else that God had called me to, it was to really write down everything that the Lord had taught me and I had experienced and learned in the last several decades of leading home cell groups. And as I began to share that with him, not only did that come out, but then he helped me really make a SMART goal so that there were these baby steps I could take to accomplish that goal. Now, I was working full time in a church. I was on staff, and my schedule was full. And so even thinking about writing a book was a little overwhelming at that point. A lot of people have dreams that they want to achieve, and they have this goal, but it stays out there somewhere. They never actually achieve it because they don't know how to make those practical steps and have measurable goals along the way, milestones, to really measure and achieve that goal. And so he helped me to do that. And the end result was I wrote a book called the Encyclopedia, which is almost 1,000 pages of A4 size. So it's not some little bitty book. It's so big it couldn't be published in one volume. I saw the power. I experienced that myself a few years before I even enrolled in the coaching. When I saw how it had changed his life, when I had seen what it had done in my own heart in life, after I took the coaching and I'm seeing what it's doing in students' lives, what it's doing in the lives of people I've coached, it truly is the power to change people's lives so that they can truly reach the destiny that they have in God themselves. So I hope that helps you to maybe get a little taste of what this whole coaching thing is about, and I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Twyla, thank you again for that, those testimonies and the challenge and the illustration of how coaching has a power to change lives. Well, what have we been saying? I've been saying that life-forming leadership coaching is actually involved in training coaches who are able to provide clear perspective, are able to impact business effectiveness, and are able to transform personal lives and the quality of life of their clients. Now let me ask you a rather direct question. Is this your heart? Are these the desires that you have in terms of making an impact with other people? As we move forward, I said I was going to share with you not just the big picture, but also some of the training basics, the nuts and bolts, the details of our training. And I want to do that now. How long is it going to take me to move through all of this training? How much do I have to commit to every week? Well, total time is about 4 hours a week, and that involves reading some material. It will involve audio and video input sessions. Again, because it's not done in a classroom, the cognitive training is actually done as you read on your own, as you listen or watch these input sessions. But there are also reflective exercises where you will be asked to integrate what you're understanding and what you're reading, what you're learning. You'll have reflective exercises where you will begin to apply these into your own life as well as the lives of potential people. And then you'll have hands-on experiences where you will be actually coaching a client through the implementation module. And these will be practical experiences and not just theory. In terms of meetings, people ask, well, how many meetings will this entail? Do we have a classroom meeting? And let me say that there are 3 different types of meetings that you will generally have. You will have a one-on-one meeting with what we call your peer partner. You'll be traveling together along this journey with a peer. You'll have a one-on-one time with me as your coach. And then there'll be what we call a 3-way where the 2 of you will meet with me. And these meetings with me can be face-to-face. They can be on Zoom. As I said, it's not a classroom. It's an individual meeting. When do we meet? Well, for myself, generally I meet with the students between 6 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. At agreeable times, mutually agreeable times, sometimes before work, sometimes over lunch, sometimes early afternoon. Whenever there's time that we can set up a Zoom call or you're able to come over. But they're at mutually agreeable times, and then the times you meet with your peer are strictly between the 2 of you. Now, I said that there's no classroom experience. There is, however, a all-day, full-day workshop for each module. That means that there is one about every 13 or 14 weeks. But even these modules, they are not lectures, they're not necessarily new information. It's a time for all of the coaches in this cohort to get together and to challenge one another, to share, to synthesize, to experience, to apply that which they have been learning. And we found that these one-day workshops bring together everything that you have been learning, the entire module. Now, I've talked about these so-called modules. We have 3 training modules. Each is about 13 weeks. There is an oral, comprehensive test at the end of each module. I'll sit down with each student for about an hour to an hour and a half, and there are a series of questions I'm going to ask to see how well it has impacted you cognitively, how it has changed your life effectively, and what skills have you been able to apply in the psychomotor area. 3 modules: formation, life focus, implementation. Formation deals with you as a coach individually, internally, to make sure that you are transformed, because all of your coaching flows out of who you are, out of your being. Life focus will give you an opportunity to understand how to help an individual discover their life purpose, their destiny, their design. Why are they here? You'll be able to experience it to some degree for yourself and get a taste of what it would be like with a client. You'll have a client that you'll be taking through this module also with you. And then implementation, I like to say, that's the nuts and bolts. That's the practical hands-on, where you're actually coaching a client more than just in life focus. It's supervised coaching for 6 sessions where you have a client and you can coach them on just about whatever they're wanting to be coached on. You'll also be coaching your peer. I will be observing your coaching. I will be supervising your client coaching, and all of that is done over a 14-week period in implementation. So again, coach orientation will kick us off on January 29th of 2022, and the formation module will begin shortly thereafter, with graduation in January of 2023. Now let me talk to you a little bit about our training distinctives also. What sets this training off from other coach training, either here in Kenya, training you can find on the internet? What are some of the training distinctives that we have in our own training here? Well, I want to give you a number of these distinctions. One is our Christian worldview. As I've said, Life Forming Leadership Coaching is the largest Christian-based coaching organization in the world, and it is the only professional Christian professional coach training organization here in Kenya. And so we approach the whole understanding of coaching from a Christian worldview. Secondly, we have an international track record. LLC Coach Training is available now in 29 countries around the world. And our material has been translated into 14 different languages. And so we can say that we have an international record that has gone on now for 20 years as we've expanded internationally. I don't believe that you'll find that in another coaching organization here in Kenya. A third distinction I will call academic excellence. You see, the LLC training meets the criteria for postgraduate master and doctoral credit and has been adopted at numerous universities as a coaching degree program. Now, as a student who's simply getting certified as a coach, you'll be getting the same training that you would be getting if you're taking it for master level credit or doctoral level credit. The only difference in the training is if you're taking it for postgraduate credit, there are some additional readings, papers, things like a dissertation that you would have to do. But besides that, the training is exactly the same, which means that the academic excellence of the training has to be there for it to meet all these curriculum committee requirements at all these universities. There's a fourth distinction, I've alluded to this already, and that is our training is targeted learning. You see, LLC training targets all three domains of adult learning. Adults do not learn in a classroom. Adults do not learn simply cognitively. We have to be affected cognitively, affectively, and in the psychomotor area. And that is why our training takes 9 months and over 180 hours. Because it's not just a matter of stuffing your head with coaching principles. It's giving you that experience, it's transforming you, and it's allowing you then to transform others as you are practicing with your clients. A fifth distinction is we are ICF compliant. LLC training is fully compliant with all of the International Coaching Federation's core competencies. And our graduates may and have pursued a portfolio path toward ICF certification. And finally, in terms of here in Kenya, we are becoming NITA certified, the National Industrial Training Authority. SCMIKenya will soon be the only professional coach training organization in Kenya that will have a NITA registered authorization as a training provider. That means that employers in the future will be able to apply for reimbursement of expenses for coach training. And we hope to have that by year's end this year. Well, what's next? Let me look at the whole area of pricing, scholarship, and registration a moment with you. The current cost, if you were to take this training in the U.S., the current cost in U.S. dollars is just under $5,000 U.S. dollars, or roughly 555,250 Kenya shillings. Now, we are offering this training at 400,000 shillings, but we are also offering this training with scholarships available for up to 50%. Again, we're wanting to make this cost effective for the East African economy. And so we have lowered the price to 400,000, but we're also giving scholarships up to 50%. Now, some of our students take 50% scholarship. Some take no scholarship. Some take 10, 15, 20, 30, 40% scholarship. How do you get a scholarship? Well, on the admission request form, there's a place that says, I need a scholarship. And we do all kinds of background checks, and we look at your finances before we give you a scholarship, and the answer is no. We found that it's much more effective if I simply say to you, we're willing to give you a scholarship. You understand the value of the training that you're receiving. Now, you and the Lord get together and you talk to Him about what you can afford and what you're willing to pay. And I found that the Lord is much more able than I am to talk to you about your finances. As long as the scholarship monies are available, we certainly will give you that scholarship. We, this last year, have given close to 3 million shillings in scholarships to our students. These are available. Simply email me, email Twyla, and we will get you an admission request form. Fill it out, send it back to me, and we can register you for this next course. We also have a number of module descriptions, one for each of the modules. This is the one, I believe, for formation. You may want to know in some detail what happens in this module, what am I going to be learning, what's it all about. These are also the module descriptions that we supply to ICF for our students, so toward their certification. And again, simply let me know and I'll be happy to send you a description for each of the modules. Now, I know that I have not answered all of your questions. I know that I probably raised questions that you didn't even think of before you were watching this video. So I want to say to you, if you still have questions, remember I said some of you are going to say, boy, this is what I've wanted. I am ready to sign on the dotted line, and I'm ready to enroll for this next cohort in 2022. Others of you, like I said, you're going to have questions. You want to continue to pursue and investigate this training. I welcome those questions. Simply contact me, and I will be happy to sit down with you and answer all the questions to the best of my ability. Questions are welcome. Well, I want to thank you for taking again your time and journeying with me as we're looking at the professional life coaching that's offered again by Life Forming Leadership Coaching in conjunction with Strategic Cell Ministry International here in Kenya. So thank you, God bless you, and we hope to see you with this next cohort.